Welcome to the first official episode of The Actor's Bow. Since we are quarantined and in the middle of a world pandemic, I thought it would be relevant to talk about self-tapes, since that's the only kind of auditioning we can be doing right now. There are self-tape auditions right now for all kind of online performances. There's Zoom plays, play readings, they are shooting shorts and full-length movies. You as the actor can shoot your part and then you send it to the director who directs it and then to the editor. It's really fascinating the way that artists in these times have found a way to be innovative and still create art and keep us connected. So self-tape auditions are very important right now, as they are also outside quarantine, because realistically nowadays that's the kind of audition as an actor you will do the most. In-person auditions are still happening, of course, it's still a thing, but self-tape auditions are just more convenient for everybody, and I love them. I think they are better than in-person auditions just because you get more than one chance. You are in the comfort of your home and you can record it as many times as you want, and it's actually very convenient. But there are a few aspects, both technical and performance-wise, that you can do that will help you improve your chances of at least making the directors and casting directors' life easier and be seen. So on the technical field, we have the setting. It's important that you get a backdrop. Ideally, you would get a light blue color or a gray color, nothing too dark. That's preferred by casting directors and agencies. And it could be anything. It could be a bed sheet. Just make sure you iron it and it's not all wrinkled and messy. But fun fact, my first backdrop when I started self-taping, when I moved to LA, was a plain blanket. I was on my trip from New York to LA, and lo and behold, the blanket was the perfect color for self-tape auditions. So I stole it, I pinned it on my wall, and it worked perfect. It looked great on camera. So just get creative. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but just make sure the background is not white or black or a very bright, distracting color. Another important aspect is your camera. Just invest in a good camera, no matter how much money it is. It just won't be working on your favor if you have bad quality video or audio. Also very important, a light. One of the best investments I've ever done is a ring light. You need to be well lit. They need to see your face, your features, your performance, and there's no way around it. There are really good ring lights right now on Amazon for a relatively cheap price. And also, technically speaking, a very important aspect is shoot horizontal. It seems very basic, but I've seen self-tape auditions or performances that are shot vertically, and no casting director, unless specified, will want that. Talking about what you would actually wear for the self-tape audition, well, don't wear white, black, or any patterns. If you wear white, you will be too bright. If you wear black, you will disappear. And if you wear patterns, it just will be distracted. So just wear forest or jewel colors, that's like navy, black green, or a deep burgundy. Nothing too distracting. Again, the important part, all they want to see is you and your performance. Same with your makeup. You want to wear some makeup to just look fresh and good and do your hair nice like you would show up in an audition. But don't do a glamorous makeup or don't do an artistic makeup, because even if the character requires it, they won't be able to see you. Like, they've never seen you before and they want to see the real you. They can always incorporate makeup when you actually shoot it. And same with costumes. If the character requires some specific costume, you can incorporate something that's basic, but don't do too much. It will be, again, distracting. When you already have finished your setting, now we're starting to perform, right? Theater actors. There will be a tendency to project, and it's really funny. If you've been training theater like I have, every time you start performing, you'll start projecting, but you're on camera and there's a mic. You can whisper, you can yell, and if you start projecting, it just will sound so weird, and it will actually look like you are yelling at the camera, and it's just like creepy. So just not a good idea. You usually in a self-tape audition will be asked to do sides, which is a scene, for those who don't know, instead of a monologue. And for that you will need a reader. A reader can be anybody in your family, a friend, but since we are quarantined, a lot of us are not quarantined with anybody and you are alone. So what should you do? What you should not do is record the other character and play it and perform with yourself. That's not gonna sound good, it's going to be distracting. The best thing you can do if you really cannot find a reader is to just not have one. Just perform without it. Actually use it to your advantage. It will show that you can act and react without getting an action from someone, that you can use your imagination. And if you do find a reader, also be really careful that they don't overpower or they don't distract in some kind of way. From experience, I once did an audition and I used someone who was the reader, and he was just doing a funny accent, and it was so distracting because his accent was funny and that's all you could hear. You were looking at me on camera, and it was actually a dramatic scene and just would make you laugh. So just your person who's doing the reading with you just should keep a monotone, calm tone where you can do your performance and it's not distracting. If the performance requires any kind of props, you can use them. For example, if you need a phone, you can use the phone, but again, keep it minimal. Once you start your performance, usually if you go in person, they'll ask you to slate. Well, on a self-tape audition, if they don't ask you to slate, don't do it. Because since we are self-taping and we're going to edit the video, what you can do and you should be doing is adding your full name on the video. And just keep it there, not for the full length, just for 10 to 15 seconds. And that will be really helpful for them to identify who is performing there. If they do ask you to slate in your self-tape, do that looking at the camera. And once you start your performance, look on the side of the camera, not too far. If you go too far, they'll just see your profile, but on the side. The reason why we're not looking directly on the camera is that would be like if you go in person and you do your monologue or performance staring at them. It's creepy, it's uncomfortable, and it just will distract them from your performance. When you finish your performance, you can look back in the camera and say thank you, nothing wrong with that, like you would do in person. And regarding performance, I just wanted to add a quick note from Michael Shurtleff, who is a casting director, who said that he's never seen an audition in which an actor did the audition too fast, that actors should pick up the pace. Now, I don't think what he's saying is, just deliver your lines and just say it fast with no meaning. What it's saying is that there's this phenomenon that actors are usually too precious with their performance and their words, and people are not like that. When you're explaining a story or sharing your feelings or whatever, your words are just flowing, your words should be natural. So when you shoot a self-tape, look at it and ask yourself, could I pick up the pace? Because chances are that you can, and then it will look even better. Also, if there is a chance that you can find humor in the scene, which there always is, even no matter how dramatic the scene is, use it. Make them laugh. That will make them remember you, and that will make you stand out, and it will show that you can find colors in a script and you can make choices. Regarding choices, that's also a very important thing to do in your self-tape audition. Same as your audition, but think about it. The self-tape audition, they open the video, they have many hundreds of videos, and if it just blend like any other, they're just gonna close it. They're not even gonna give you the chance to finish like they would probably do in a in-person audition. So you have to find a way to stand out. I think it's better to make a big choice and fuck it up then just do something bland. Because if you make a big choice, they'll remember you. And maybe they won't cast you now, but they'll remember your performance maybe for another project. I'm not saying go do something that is completely out of character and doesn't make sense and that will surely make you fuck it up. I'm just saying it's better to do something different than to just stay normal and just not be remembered and your performance just being okay. And once you've shot your performance, it's time to send your self-tape. Now this is really important now that you follow the instructions, because the most important part in an audition and the thing they want to see the most is that you can actually follow direction. They know that your audition and your performance won't be perfect. They know that you're not doing exactly what they want because they haven't had the chance to direct you, but they want to know that at some point they can direct you. So if they ask you to send the self-tape on YouTube and you send it on Vimeo, that's already a bad sign. So just follow the instructions, read everything they ask you, and if they're not asking a lot of specifics, just know that usually the file should be 50 megabytes. If you do it heavier, then the file is too big and just gonna get into the casting director's computer and gonna be so heavy and they're just gonna hate you. So if you have a smaller file, it might be real bad quality. So 50 megabytes is a good standard. And then name your file. Name it your name, underscore, and a character's name. If you keep it with the numbers and weird names that the computer gives it, it will make it so hard for them. They have hundreds of videos again, and it's just easier for them to find it. So those are my self-tape tips. Hopefully they are helpful for you. And before we finish the episode this week, I wanted to bring in the play of the week. Since the beginning of this past year, I started reading a play a week, which is something I used to do freshman year of college, and I stopped doing, I don't know why. But this week, I want to share with you The River by Jez Butterworth. This is a play I saw 6 years ago on Broadway, and the lead of the play was Hugh Jackman. His performance was just stunning, riveting, mesmerizing. The thing I remember the most was the scene with him preparing a fish live on stage, a real fish in a kitchen, and in complete silence for what was 5 to 6 minutes, and you could not take your eyes off of him because his performance was so raw. So the play is a contemporary play. It has amazing monologues that I've used for females and for males too, and it's really beautiful in exploration of relationships, and it's really well written. And that's it for this week. If you'd enjoyed the episode and you'd like, you can subscribe on iTunes and follow on Spotify, and follow The Actors Bow on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And I'll see you next Wednesday.